I'm not too bad, I'm 42, I'm successful in business. Who cares if I'm a little bit choppy? I got 2 kids that love me. Yeah, but dude, what is gonna happen in 5 years from there if you don't change? And most people might say, yeah, but I don't have time. I have to get the kids up. All I'm saying is, dude, so wake up half an hour before. Sunlight first thing in the morning. Move your body. Jump down in a cold plunge or cold shower. Meditate, sauna. Write down your goals. Visualize what you want to happen today, and then you're freaking on it. Where do you want to go? What is the cost of you not getting to where you want to get to? And then design a plan around that.
Welcome to the Superhuman Builders podcast. So today we have a guest who is a peak performer, and what we are doing is we are going to dissect his mind. Simon Thompson has made a personal transformation that sticks. From teen drug addict to pro bodybuilder, Simon has undergone a radical transformation of body and mind. He now helps other men to do the same. As the founder of the Power Method, he has coached over 600 men to reclaim their health, rediscover their six-pack, and step fully into their power. But his work goes far beyond fitness. He teaches men to build lasting habits, identity, and inner strength, blending personal development, mindset, and spiritual practice into a path of true peak performance. Welcome to the show, Simon.
My brother, thank you so much for having me. And from another high performer to another high performer, I see what you do, and it's great to be here today. I'm ready to roll.
Cool. Game recognizes game, right?
That's right. That's right.
I mean, we can spin this into multiple directions. We met the first time actually on Instagram when I was back in Berlin, as we recognized when we met in Bali, right?
Yeah.
At Body Factory. So it's really funny how the world goes, right? Like I recognized on your Instagram feed that you were like running in Thailand and stuff like that, and I was like, how is it running in Thailand? And I think I was back in Switzerland and just recognizing like your content.
Yeah.
And so super funny that we actually met in person at Body Factory.
It's so funny. Yeah. So as we said, like you actually saw one of our, because you're from Berlin originally, right?
Yeah. Berlin,
yeah,
Germany,
so that's how you got. So you actually got connected through one of our advertising we used to run in Berlin, and that's what we saw. And I'm like, that is so funny. Small world, dude.
That's how it works. I mean, I plan to really pick your brain, but before we go into all the peak performance stuff, right, and really dissect your habits and talk about like your mindset, I want to know, where do you see yourself in your vision, and like what kind of legacy do you really want to build? Like what is something that you want to be known for?
Yeah, it's a great question to to open up with. I think to be honest, and I've talked with a lot of people around that, people pursue, their own vision and mission first, whether that is business, whether that is tangible, career, family, and stuff. And I think a lot of the people, especially people that get super successful in whatever they're trying to pursue, always return back to helping people. And as a core, I'm lucky because I actually started from that point of view, which is helping people improve, helping myself improve, one step at a time, smiling to someone on the street. I think helping someone can come down to it's really just a way of living. That's how I'll describe it. So I just want to help people, to be honest, because I help myself when I help people. I feel better about myself when I help people, and I think there's just no greater feeling than helping someone else getting unstuck with something. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I used to be stuck. I used to, I don't know how much you want to go into the backstory, but I used to have a drug addiction from the age of 14 to 19 years old. And it wasn't so much the drugs, but it was what it made me feel down the line. Like my self-esteem, I developed massive social anxiety. And I'm a pretty outgoing guy, and I just, what's it called? I just became very introverted, very shy, very anxious, I couldn't hold eye contact with anyone. I didn't want to go out. So that was actually the real damage of drugs that did to my personality. So then coming out of drugs, 19, 20, 21, 22, All I wanted there was just answers and help. Someone that like, do this instead of this. Don't think like this. This is how you change the way you're thinking here. So I was just seeking answers. So I think that is really where the core of what I'm doing today is coming from. I just wish I had someone like me that said, dude, like, come with me. Don't worry. Blinders on. Next 5 years, you're going to be in a good place.
That's great. So because your way of causing that transformation, as far as I've seen, I've studied multiple of your content pieces, and you have also sent me a very interesting video about your backstory. Maybe we can add it in the show notes because people then can have a little more context around that. But how did you start when you thought about like your theme right now is the six pack, right? Like a kind of like losing body fat. But what is it really, right? Like what is it really? It could be like the hook, right? To get people into the door. People want to like, I want this six pack, right? But what is it really that you help people with?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I know deep down what we really are helping people with, and sometimes it's not because it's hard to explain, but yeah, going back to the six pack, it's meeting people where they are, and most people they just think about the pain. So here's a real life example that actually illustrates this. So, and I'm vulnerable right now. It's not something like I was very shy talking about these things. So when I finished my drug addiction, okay, I tried to quit my drugs multiple times. The reason why I changed drugs, and this is a so funny story, I was with my ex-girlfriend at that time. I couldn't perform in bed anymore. I couldn't get erection. I didn't have any energy. I felt very inadequate. To the degree that I freaking next day after couldn't be with my girlfriend, I was at work, I typed in psychologist for sex. Boom, Google, 3 pages came up. I clicked on the first guy, and there was this old relationship guy that popped up. I booked an appointment with him. I went down there, did an appointment the next day, and we opened up the conversation. And he's like, why are you here? And I'm like, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling inadequate. I can't perform with my ex-girlfriend. I don't know. I'm just beating myself up. Why is this happening to me? And all that dude just led down the road of you're doing drugs. You're letting yourself down. Every single time you do something you know you shouldn't do, you're banging yourself 2 steps backwards. That was the change that changed everything for me. So the moral of the story is I had a very surface level. I thought it was something surface level to do with my freaking, I don't know, testosterone or whatever. It wasn't anything. But it was actually the deeper layers that caused that symptom of the problem. So most people come to us because they're out of shape, they don't have the energy, they don't like the way they look, but it's the strength down that we actually then are going in and helping them with, which is their habits, their routines, their mindset. The personal development is really how we actually help these guys having success with that. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. I mean, there's this one short. I'm sure some people know it. Like there's a girl. She talks about what it really means for her, who is a real man, right? And she says, with a lot of conviction, almost like with a sense of seduction for her, like when a man says what he will be doing, right? Period. So it sounds like you are. It's almost integrity, right? Like getting back to like doing what you say, becoming a man of integrity.
Yeah. I heard this line once. He said, the fastest way to gaining self-confidence in anything is just stay true to your words. Like keep the promises you make to yourself. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. You wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to brush my teeth. I go to the gym. And that's why, I revert back to these tangible habits around getting in shape, eating healthy, going to bed, waking up. Because, dude, that's the biggest confidence booster you can make. Because when you do that as a foundation, now I show up on a podcast with you at 5 o'clock. I've been on back-to-back meetings all day. I just do it habitually. Okay, I'm going to do a speaking event right now, speaking in front of 2,000 people. I'm like, okay, that's new, but, dude, see all the proof you have from the last decade of you showing up and saying that you're going to do it, and you do it anyway. That's confidence.
Like the dominoes you've been lining up. I mean, since you were mentioning it, I would like to go into like the peak performance habits after this question. You mentioned your girlfriend at the time, right? And I have a little bit the feeling that right now, especially on social media, there's this sense of like, what does it mean to be a man, right? And since you're working with a lot of men, and getting them back into their personal power, I would like to get your perspective on what it means to be a modern man, right? Like you know Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably causing a lot of havoc, and even though having some positive impact. But from your perspective, right, as someone who's teaching men to get it back into power, what does masculinity really mean to you?
Again, it's exactly what we just talked about. It's just being true to who you are. I'm reading this. It's a very great book right now. It's called The Surrender Experiment. And have you read it?
I did, yeah. My
Yeah.
ex recommended it to me. She actually bought it for me.
Yeah. I'm like halfway through it now. I got it recommended from a mentor of mine, and I think in a nutshell, the aspects of being true to who you are, I think that is ultimate power in the end of the day. And as they also describe in that book, like you can work so hard at it all the time, trying to be perfect, trying to make money, try to be healthy, try to be a good dad, da di da di da. The life of nature is that it will always, like negativity is something I learned. Negativity, problems, is automatically. Work is going the opposite direction. It's improving yourself, being better. So if negativity is automatically and positivity is work, then you gotta make a decision. Like, because if you don't do anything consciously every single day to improve yourself, you're automatically going to be less off, whatever that means. More out of shape, less money, worse relationship. It's automatically if you don't work at it. So to answer your question, what is masculinity? I'm not really, it's not really an area I'm super, what can you say? I'm not thinking so much about these things, the dynamics, relationships, these sort of things. Maybe it will be soon, like I would like to find a partner for myself. But I think it's really just the essence of I don't give a fuck in a very calm and very humble way. I'm good, dude. Yep, thank you for your advice. I'm fine.
Which is probably also a trait of real masculinity, to not give a fuck too much, right? And not from a place of arrogance, but to like I'm good in my core, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a good point. So let's go into peak performance. You mentioned a couple of habits already, but
Yeah.
what does peak performance mean to you? And also this notion of one thing that you mentioned was when you were drug addicted, right? You had you had certainly like a journey of setbacks and then getting back to it. So many people, when they start like a journey, they think it's a straight line, right? But there's no fucking straight line in nature. That's what Peter Sage, for example, says. So can you show people what does peak performance mean and what are the setbacks on the way to peak performance?
Yeah. What are the setbacks on the way to peak performance? Well, it goes back to what we were talking about here right now, that going backwards is automatically. So just have that in mind in the beginning. Like if you want to be great in life, it just requires a total commitment to want to go right. I'm going this direction right now. So if we're peeling that back, people always ask me, were you always this kind of guy? Yeah, I've always been competitive. I've always been into sports, so I have that innate in me. But I would say the starting point is really just making that decision of wanting to change, which oftentimes comes out of desperation or pain. There's a good quote, psychologist talks a lot about that. The only reason why people change is the fear of pain right now, or the pain I'm experiencing right now, or the fear of future pain, meaning if I don't change right now, it's going to mean death, error, health, not good. right now. That is ultimately why people change and make a change. So when we speak to men every single day, that is our job to actually do this for them, because they've been okaying themselves their whole life. I'm not too bad, I'm 42, I'm successful in business, who cares if I'm a little bit choppy, I got 2 kids that love me. Yeah, but dude, what is going to happen in 5 years from now if you don't change? You don't have energy. It hurts in your back when you pick up your pen. What is that going to look like at 50? So that's our job, really. That's the starting point to really make a change. So then it starts from there. And you and I, we had the conversation. I'm not a biohacker of so, you know what I mean? I love aspects of it, like the blood work and really understanding what actually happens. But this is not what we teach. Why? Because for 99% of the population, like, they need to get to this point first before they start tweaking about these like 1 or 2 or 3% of like complete optimization. So
before like
pain,
peptides and blood work and then really like going to oxygen chambers and sitting there for an hour and then breathing like oxygenation or oxygenating their blood. So what are the key fundamentals then?
Yeah, so to answer on your thing there, it's a great analogy, because it's everybody there's new in business. What do they do in business? They confuse themselves. They try every single hack and method. Everybody that's new to health, what do? They try every single supplement, every single pill, every single hack and gimmick to get to that level. So my core message in everything we do is get back to basic, dude. That's how you have success in these core 3 pillars: relationship, your business, and your health. Without the foundation, nothing else matters, because the foundation is 95%. Okay? So for you and kind of like the teachings of what we're doing with our clients right away when they come in, we always start with the end in mind. Okay, so we go back to sleep. That's the first thing we really are focused on, optimized on. So again, without going into this whole biohacking thing, it's just fundamentals, core principles. Okay, stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed. Don't work right before you go. Screen time 1 hour before. I like my little diffuser at nighttime. Dimmed light, write down my journal, and really just get into a calm state where I'm in peace, I'm centered. I go to bed every single night at the same time. I'm in bed and I'm waking up more or less every single time at the same time without an alarm. That, if people just took one takeaway away from this, you and I, we speak about it, and it sounds so simple and it sounds so like, yeah, but if you do that, that is peak performance when you dial that in. So that's where we start with all our clients. Then obviously the next thing is again, back to the whole negativity is automatically. If you don't find a place during the day where you center yourself, you're going to run wild. And that's why I love deep work or an hour for yourself or something you do at that first part of the day. And most people might say, yeah, but I don't have time. I have to get the kids up. All I'm saying is, dude, wake up half an hour before and have that 30 minutes for yourself to center yourself. I don't care what you do. You sit down on a mat, you stretch, you go for a little walk, you quiet, or you're listening to something, you write down your thoughts. Center yourself. Because what that's going to do, it's just going to bulletproof. It's almost like a shell around you for the rest of the day. Because you're going to have meetings, you're going to have stress, you're going to have things that doesn't go your way. And that kind of like keeps you in that mindset, that protected mindset throughout the day.
And what do you do? Just one kind of caveat to that. What do you do when your wife doesn't want you to get up 30 minutes earlier? Because it's easy when it's easy, right? It's hard when external influence is coming in.
Yeah. Well, again, I know it's a hard one, but it's, I paid a guy $1,000 a month when I didn't want to read to keep me accountable to read 2 books a month. $1,000 a month, he sends me a book, read this, give me your summary and your takeaways. In 14 days, we meet on a call, boom, 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 and then we give a new book. That's how I started eating books for breakfast right now. So if the external things outside right now, get a coach, get someone that can keep you accountable, pay some money, make it sting a little bit, make it, I gotta get going until you actually are going. And then again, it just goes back to like, do you want to be average or do you want to be extraordinary? Most people are average, dude. So do you want to, what do you want? What do you want? But on your note, with being surrounded or being in environments where it's difficult to do, I get that. That's the epidemic of why people stay where they are. It's the people they have around them. So you left Berlin. We met in Bali. I left Denmark, went to Australia. Now I'm here in Bali. And what's the like? Maybe you can share around that. What changed for you when you left your city?
Well, I had many attempts of leaving my hometown, to be honest. Like it's like a magnet, and maybe you know that, right? Like your hometown is kind of always calling for you, even though I kind of hate it. But I mean, I have great friends there, but everything around like a family is always pulling me back into my old self, so to speak. But I think it's super important. It's what a guy in personal development in Germany, Bodo Schäfer, he has written Rules of Winners, right? Gesetze der Gewinner in German. And so what he says is you gotta leave the safe harbor, right? So just leaving the safe harbor itself will create an environment of uncertainty where you need to be adapting, right? And so I think that's also like one of the phases that I'm going through right now because I'm involuntarily solo traveling, so to speak, in Southeast Asia. And but when you do something like that, I think it just trains your resilience. Right? Like you have a different environment. I think that's what you want to touch on, right? Like and Nirvana and Body Factory, it just puts you around so many like-minded people who are on a different path than the society that they originally came from.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I had this good friend of mine. We actually grew up together, and I went into drugs at age 14. He went into drugs. We both came from good families, normal, sport, everything. He went into drugs at around 18, and I was actually lucky that I started young because when you're young, you sort of like you're still a child. But he was 18 and made money, you know what I mean? So he could actually fund his drug abuse. So he became super addicted to cocaine, like really, really bad. And again, great guy, come from great family. He has good morals. He's a nice guy. And yeah, he just slided from the age of 18 to around, I think, 26 or so. And multiple times, we didn't really have much contact throughout those years, but multiple times he reached out to me on Facebook and Messenger, but just with a video, and he looked terrible. He's like, Simon, like, what did you do? Like, how did you get out of it? And it wasn't until, like, I think a year or two later, he just left Denmark with his girlfriend, and I was already living in Australia at that time, and they just went on a 6-month travel around Australia, around US, to get away from the drugs, to recover himself. And he was sober all that time he went away. He went on a trip. And what do you think happened? He goes back home. He starts work again, and he's on drugs within 2 weeks. He got so scared of it that he quit everything. He left his girlfriend after 9 years, and they're good together. He just got scared, paranoid. And he texted me, he's like, I'm in Australia right now. I'm coming to Australia. So this guy shows up in Australia, literally in a camper van, fucking drive down from Sydney all the way down to Melbourne on a Friday night, finish calls, and I'll go over and I meet with him. And, he's my childhood friend. And, of course, like we had good chats back and forward there. He just needed to do something. So he started delivering pizzas for Uber Eats. And dude, within 3 months, during COVID, this is a brilliant story, during COVID, don't speak English, come from Denmark, relapsing from a drug abuse, delivering pizzas. He's a carpenter by trade at home. He goes out and he starts his own roofing business 3 months in Australia during COVID and scales that up, hire employees. He gets a wife, get kids, he moves back home to Denmark, and now today back home in Denmark, he's got a successful roofing company with multiple cars, like everything set up.
It's a great story. I mean, it also shows that no matter what kind of situation you're in right now, right? How hopeless it might seem, if you keep working and putting in the action. But would you also say that having you as a role model was like his safety line?
He definitely, and he would say that himself. Like that was like an inspiration. What can I do? But taking nothing away from him, it requires you being a savage. Like you have to have that savageness in you. He's a hard worker, dude. This guy works 24 hours a day. And I see the self in me as I see in him. And I see the self in, I don't know if you know Grant Cardone, for example.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. When you listen to his story, it's very much similar. It's overcoming something very traumatic, very detrimental to yourself. You're almost scared, shit scared of like, this is going to mean death if I don't commit myself. And these individuals, including myself, including him, we become obsessed individuals, sometimes years later, to a default. We become very one-dimensional. We become very aggressive in our approach and our pursuit. We become very lonely sometimes because we just go hard in one direction, and we can, leave people away sometimes. So that's something I work on right now during my business career. It's becoming more, I don't like the word balance, but more in harmony with other things, because I know it's a long game. Business is a long game, and you can't just be in your locked in all the time. You need to bring all the other aspects in,
I understand what you mean. There's the book Obsessed or Be Average by Grant, right? There's a dark side to obsessiveness, right? It also repels people, right?
Yeah.
So there's a great guy that I met in Bali who said, his name is Mark Reed Healing. Cool guy. I met him at Brotherhood in Bali, and what he said is that the very habits that you have built as a peak performer are keeping the relationship of your dreams away, right? So it is really interesting to have this dynamic that on the one side, women want safety, they want protectedness, right? They want to have a man who's has a certain level of dominance, and I mean, how much sacrifice that costs to get there, right? And so having this climb, and then on the other side, when the feminine doesn't like the climb, right? So that's a little bit like a paradox. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, people, what did they say? The good saying, people, you want your cake, like you want your cake and eat it too. I can't remember the saying about that. Like, you want more money, but you don't want to work. You want a six-pack abs, but you still want to eat your burger as well. Like, what's your question around that? What do you mean in terms of like how I see the dark side to it, or how women see the difference in it?
Yeah, I mean, your perspective on the paradox that women want a high performer, but they don't want to have the sacrifice. I mean, it probably also depends on the woman, right? I mean, Grant Cardone has Elena Cardone, and Elena Cardone is probably more obsessive than him,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. Or Leila Hormozi and Alex Hormozi, right? So,
Yeah.
but like, do you have any thoughts on that from where you stand right now? You mentioned that you are also like in search of a relationship. This is not a dating podcast, but what's your take on that?
Well, if I'm zooming out, yeah, like I don't know about you, but like yeah, I'm kind of doing it wrong in regards to that, because you are becoming very one-dimensional, very push. You're almost like going into this limiting belief about it's just easier to do by yourself. It's a distraction over here. But if I'm actually stepping out of my own limiting belief and looking down on it, then it would only be better for us men to have a relationship that's good and they're supportive. And I think from the perspective of a woman, Dude, I think it really just comes down to it comes down to trust and feeling. You know what I mean? It's like when you and I we speak right now. Let's say we're talking about something in business or something. You and I we both analyzing each other and be like, is this guy full of shit or can I trust this guy? Is this the real deal? And I think that is really just the nuances that shines through in a relationship that, you know, it's like I'm gonna be home at this time, or I really love you. Da-di-da-di-da. Like, it's just the truth will always shine through. So I think for us as a man, it's just about showing up where it matters with our actions. And I think the woman would be happily for us to work very hard at building an empire and be very supportive of that, but she feels valued, she feels seen. She knows he's the real deal and he loves me and he does this for us. He's not doing it just for this. Does that make sense? I think it's this truth that shines through is, okay, we're in this together. And I think they will calm down and they will just go into the little, I'm in peace right now, and he can go and grind as much as you want. I think that sums it up.
That's a great point. And to be honest, I don't have the answer. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah. Yeah. When is the last time you were in a relationship?
As I told you, like 1 month ago.
That's right. Yeah.
So going through a breakup right now and gaining a new perspective on life, right? Like what did I do wrong? But then it's always like a two-sided coin, right? Like when you have a relationship and it stops, then both have a little bit of a level of responsibility for it, right? So, but yeah, let's not dive deeper into that. That's something for a whole nother
different
podcast.
Conversation. Yeah.
I would like to go back to the sense of the habits, right? You mentioned sleep.
Yep.
And then we kind of went into environment, right?
Yep. Totally. Yeah. So if we're going sleep, you know, we're very pragmatical around that. You know, our little power protocol and routines that we're using for most of our clients. So you know. You dial into sleep, that would automatically get you a wake up time. I like to wake up early. I like to go to bed early. And then I move my body first thing in the morning. And that could be a walk. It could be, I like more calm, quiet in the morning. I don't like to go straight into a hardcore workout. So move the body first thing in the morning, okay? If you beat the sun up, you feel good about yourself, and you're also there to actually see the sun goes up, especially if you're outside. So you get sunlight first thing in the morning. Okay, we all know that's going to be good for you, your vitamin D levels and stuff. It really just help, you know, reset your circadian rhythm and stuff. So it really just, there's a lot of great things that happens there in the morning when you wake up super early. So move the body, get some sunlight. We luckily we live in you know, wellness heaven. So we got ice bath and saunas literally around every single corner here. But I will do that. Like in the next place I'm living anywhere in the world, I'm building an ice bath and a sauna. I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. It just feels so good. Okay, and again, boiling it down to simple language that people can understand. Yeah, there's all the biomechanical effects of it, but you're going to jump down in a cold plunge of water, 6 a.m. in the morning after you just woke up. How do you think you're going to feel afterwards? You're going to be awake, alert.
Pumped up.
Pumped up. You just did the first thing that most people on planet Earth can't even do, and that's freaking just wake up and do something that's difficult. Okay?
You're back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect, yeah. So I don't know where it cut out, but basically what I said is like you're doing something first thing in the morning that most people can't do, and this is doing something difficult. Like you're actually doing something that's like uncomfortable to do, and that's the same as a workout does. So you jump down in a cold plunge. I go right into a sauna afterwards, and that's where I do my second center. I do a night center at nighttime, calm down, and then I do my second center in the morning, which is meditation in a sauna. And I go through multiple different versions of meditation. Sometimes I just like to sit in silence, feel my body. I've done the Tony Robbins priming for many years. That's how I started. So you think about 3 things you're grateful for. You sit down, you do a bit of breath work, so you just get centered in your body. You then visualize 3 things that you're super grateful for. And one of the things he's saying there is something very simple. It could be my nephew, it could be the local baby I just saw on the street. They were smiling, like something very simple, the sun outside. And then you're basically moving into sort of like cleansing yourself of forgiveness and gratitude towards yourself, and then love and gratitude and appreciation towards other people. So I could do this tomorrow and be like, I'm sending Max, you know what I mean? So much appreciation from yesterday, and it's amazing that he wanted me on, and it was such a great conversation, and I hope the best for him. Like wherever he's at in the world right now, I just want the best for himself. That's my mind chatter that I'm visually trying to send out to the world. And then I finish with 3 things that I'm going to accomplish, or I am accomplishing. I've already accomplished it. So you're looking at your vision, maybe a goal a year from now, or 6 months from now, or 2 or 3 or 10 years from now. But you see and you experience them. And you know that from visualization. A lot of athletes do that. So very big on that. If you want a bonus point on that one, I write my goals every single day. All my big goals, I write them down in my notepad, fresh every day. I got tens of notebooks, all with the same, different goals, but same goals year in and year out. Big goals. Power is $1 billion brand. Okay, I'm a multi-millionaire. Okay, we're going all out for the ultimate life experience and make the biggest contribution to help and inspire other people. Like just priming my mind for this is where we're going. And then what I've done is I have found my favorite song, which is Vengeance. I can't remember the Vengeance. It's a very motivational, I don't know, you can probably pop it into it. Yeah, type it in. Zach, what's his name? It's in movies and stuff as well. Vengeance.
Yeah, I will check it out. And we can add this to the show notes. Also, the video by Tony Robbins is pretty powerful. There's also a cool video of his priming habit.
I can send you my goals that I'm doing there. So then I created my own audio file with Vengeance, my own vision board on it, and then I speak my own goals in a very high resolution, good sound. So when I walk to the gym in the morning, I blast myself for 10 minutes with just repeating the goals with Vengeance in the background, and I'm speaking them out loud, I'm seeing it, and I'm feeling them. So that in a nutshell is how I start my day, and many people will be like, oh, that was a lot of things you did there. It's all habitual. It's all 1, 2, 3, and it takes me less than freaking half an hour to do, and I'm ready for the day. Okay, so to sum it up, move your body, sunlight first thing in the morning, jump down in a cold plunge or cold shower, center yourself, meditate, sauna, write down your goals, visualize what you want to happen today, and then you're freaking on it. That's how I lived my life for 8 years, and that is the number one, I would say, foundation for me being where I'm at today. Business-wise, everything in life. It comes from that centerness and foundation and just repeating into myself, dude, we got this, okay? Forward.
It's strong. It's a level of groundedness, as you mentioned. And there is this notion, Tony Robbins calls it, repetition is the mother of skill, right? There is this notion of it is easy to do and it's easy not to do, right? So I know it from myself. Like I establish morning routines and then I abandon them or whatever, something happens, right? Like I had a project that run longer than expected and I get to bed at 12 instead of 11 or 10, right? So life happens, but there's also this level of discounting the basics. How would you tell someone to really master the basics and really have this mindset that this is so important as it is, and not get caught up too much in the peptides I'm consuming? I mean, at the end, part of the podcast is also this, right? Like I want to have optimized supplement stacks and whatever.
Yeah.
But what you just mentioned is like a multiple step morning routine that sets you up for success. But how do you build this habit that you actually follow through on it for 8 years?
Well, again, it goes back to pain. So the reason why I started walking in the morning, listening to my goals, visualizing, is because that was my first thing that could help me get over my social anxiety. Oh my God, I'm gonna go into this event now. Like, how do I want this event to go? Like so it's pain again. It's fear driven. It's pain. Like I needed tools to get me out there. So if I don't sleep right now, you can go. Of course, there's projects and stuff that happens. You travel and stuff, but it's what is the consequences of you not doing it right now? What is the consequences of you going to the gym? And most people are like, there's not really any consequences today. No, but there will be. Okay. So how do you bring that consequence back in again? And it really just starts with self-awareness. Constantly taking inventory of what's happening, how you're feeling, because we were joking with someone in the sauna the other day. It's almost like the healthier you are, the more dialed in you are, the more sensitive or the more aware you also are. Does that make sense? So the more you just know what good and bad feels like, where most people do, they don't know. They're just numbed around badness and fat and out of shape and smoke and alcohol. They don't know what's up and down. So that's why they don't change, because they don't feel the consequence of it. I feel the consequence very hard 1, 2, or 3 days. So boom, that's an alarm, get back on track again. So there's no magic pill to it. I think it's just, it has to come from an innate desire to want to change. And why do we want to change? Because we're in pain. We're in something that's not comfortable right now. That little thing worked. And then you do it again. And that thing gives you something positive back as a feedback loop. And therefore you take it with you. There's many things I've done over the years that I don't do today, because I'm like, okay, like it didn't give me more, it didn't give me less. So I think it's really just about looking at where you're trying to go right now in your life. Like what's the big domino in your life right now? Is it your health? Which it should be for most people, unless you're mastered. And then allocate some focus and some time into this year, not this week. 2025 is going to be my year where I'm going to get myself into the best health possible. What does the best health possible look like? I'm waking up with energy every single day. I have the best attitude towards my kids, my wife. My business is blowing through the roof. I have stamina and energy to go all day. Like, you just list out, what is that person that you want to be end of this year standing for, feeling, having? And then you just need to lean into that. You need to commit to that version of yourself, because if you don't, dude, you're gonna pay for it later on. So I don't know what to tell here right now. There's a lot of hacks you can do to make it simple, make it easy. Atomic Habits is a great book. Make it obvious if you want to build a new habit. Make it distance if you don't want it. You know, if you want to eat healthy, remove all your shit food from the kitchen. Okay, put your exercise clothes right in front of you when you go to bed, so you make it easy for you to develop a habit. That's the only way. Make it simple, make it easy, back to basic, and then use the pain. Use that like put it up in front of you. What's the good and what's the bad? And look at it every single day. The reason why I look at my goals and write my goals down every single day, back to what you said before, repetition is the mother of skill. I know for a fact, dude, and it's not even a question. We are going to be massively successful. Massively successful. It's not a wish, it's not a hope for one single thing. We are consistent and we do it every single day, and it doesn't matter if it's raining or what. We do it. I will be in this ship for the rest of my days, and I'm going in one direction, and it might go left, it might go right, up and down, but I'm freaking going there. And I know that in the core of my belly, so it's like, it doesn't matter, dude, we're going there. It's done. And I think that is really just boiling it down to, you woke up today, you said what you're going to do in the small things, because if you do it in the small things, you will do in the big things too.
Can we make it a little bit more tangible? Because I love that, but let's make it personal, right? Just what you mentioned with yourself. There is this sense when somebody is coaching something that people are putting them on a pedestal, right? They are like, man, Simon is crushing it. He's been doing this for 8 fucking years. Sorry for the F-bomb. But he's been doing it for a while now. And so what do you do when you get into rut? right? Like when something, for example, like I fell down the fucking F-bomb again, but I'm
You
gonna
go,
get
dude.
cancelled on the internet, man.
It's your podcast.
So I fell down the stairs after a relatively intense bike session, and I just noticed that this was messing with me, right? Like the blood, and then a little bit of a shock. And I also know from a friend who did also in Malaysia, he did his first 73 Ironman, right, the half Ironman, as a preparation for his full Ironman, and a guy just crashed into him out of nowhere, and then he was flying through the air, and then blood over him. He was fine, but the other guy broke something. But he was fine, but he needed like half an hour to recalibrate himself. So how do you control your nervous system when the last thing that your nervous system is telling you is to do the thing that is right in front of you?
Like, are we talking about fear right now of like, I shouldn't jump, I shouldn't go and do this, I'm scared of doing this, but I know it's good for me? Or give me an example there.
I mean, when you are, let's say you are feeling like shit, right? This is definitely not for, this is PG what, 18 now, but you are feeling like shit. How do you get yourself out of that? Right, something has interrupted your ideal pattern of running your habit,
Yeah.
and the last thing that you want to do is be disciplined right now. How do you handle that?
Oh my God, dude. It happens every day. Every day. I'm disturbed in my peace and my energy and my inspiration. So, I'll answer your question. But again, it goes back to, again, just having that foundation in place, that I know I have my little time for myself to like go over it and like analyze where we at right now, what are we doing, get myself out again. Don't think about it like that. It's normal, it's all good. That gives me confidence because I have that little escape mentally with myself. Some people have it with meditation. That book, Enlightenment thing, that talks a lot about that. So what do you do in the moment when you just don't feel like doing it? That's kind of like your question. You're sad, you're upset, you just want to like throw down. I throw down sometimes and I feel shit. Okay?
So, and what do you do then, right? When you feel not like it, then you just take time, take a breather, because many of our listeners might not be the type of man that they yet want to be, right? This is why they are seeking for the self-improvement path.
Yeah.
And there's not always that your body suggests you should go for a hard gym session right now.
No. What I was saying before is like, yeah, I give in, dude. Like I eat food, I do something, because I'm feeling sad and upset. Like if we're looking from a higher level first, which most people probably can't relate to, is like I always try to observe how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And is that true, first and foremost? And then boom, it hits. It's a pattern. Something goes wrong. That's why, again, I'm looking at my thing over there. I have these affirmation card in front of me. I have like the focus on the solution, not the problem. It's one thing I look at every single day. So I try to remind myself a lot about things, listening to something motivational. If it's been a really tired day, I go for a beach walk, and I just kind of like, probably one good thing, maybe a useful analogy is like, I always try to, when everything is difficult, I'm sad, I'm upset, it doesn't go my way, I always try to picture myself as the hero in my own movie. So almost like reverse engineering of like, this is the scene in the movie right now where it's like, it's supposed to be hard, struggle. So I walk on the beach, I'm listening to something motivational, and I cultivate negativity and downward energy into like fuel, and like, this is gonna be cool. You got to do. You're here right now. You're in camp. It's time. So maybe people can't do that and relate to that. That is what I do. Then I just let myself be sometimes. Take 2 or 3 hours off. Go to the spa. Recharge. if I'm in a phase where I'm not feeling my best, like it's a phase now. It's not just one day where I'm not feeling my best. I actually go opposite, completely opposite. So I've been very public about it on social media. So opposite meaning I don't feel good about myself right now. Now I need to force the opposite, almost doubling down on the opposite direction of what I need to do. So I call it like my 30 days power protocol. And I can do different things in that 30 days. Semen retention, no cheat meals, hitting a workout every single day, like going opposite in it. And what that does, I don't feel like anything. I'm more out of shape. I'm feeling low. I'm feeling down. Okay, just take 30 days right now. Clean up in yourself. You stick to these 3 things. I'm feeling inspired by myself after day 5 of doing that. And it's simple things like that.
So it's almost like a detox protocol or what?
Yep. Detox of like do something there's uncomfortable to do. So I'm out of shape. I'm not eating what I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to the gym right now. What's the opposite you can do? Okay, cut out all your cheat meals. No cheat meals for the next 30 days. These 3 meals, this is what you eat every single day. Just do that alone. You don't have to add anything else into it. You will feel so empowered and so inspired after day 5. Because you do what you're saying you're supposed to do right now. So I don't know if that's something I do a lot in phases. And every single time I do it, dude, my business goes like this. I feel like this. I feel excited again. People come into my life. Everything just goes up when I do these 30 to 40 days of just like locking down on 2 or 3 things.
Do you think, can you consider yourself lucky? Because there's some people that just have like the magic touch. Do you consider yourself lucky?
Definitely not. I think all of us always think that, you know, I should be further ahead. Or maybe I think ambitious people always think I should be further ahead. Why the fuck am I not, like, I'm working so hard, poor me, you know, I should do something else. I am grateful, I would say that. I am grateful for certain, what can you say, universal gifts. I'm athletic. I've been into sport my whole life. I'm 6 foot. I'm in shape. I'm lean. I'm good with people. I got a certain look that is attractive. You know what I mean? So I think that's as a core foundation that will help you win more in life. But dude, you know that you're the same. You're a great guy, good looking, 6 foot, whatever you are, 2. You're fit. You're in shape. It still requires a lot of work. But imagine not having your one arm. Imagine you're a midget. Like I'm not saying no bad against midget, but like just imagine you have one of these big silos that is against you. You got 2 teeth that points out to both sides, or you got like one eye you can't see out of. Like just so there, I feel very grateful and very blessed that I have a lot of these universal foundations for within human perceptions to be higher status. Let's just call it like that. Higher status. Okay.
That's a good,
attractive character.
Good point.
Yeah.
So, is there something that you want to add in terms of like the habits, right? Like we talked about sleep, we talked about environment. Can you review them again?
Yeah. So sleep. We talked about the environment. Getting out of your comfort zone is something you have to do every single day. So hot and cold exposure, sauna, ice bath, that's a great way to do it. That actually gives you great endorphins. Like reprogram yourself. Negativity is automatic, positivity is work. Shut the TV down, okay? Don't scroll on social media. Like, don't. I don't know what you do, but like every single time I'm scrolling on social media, if you're actually self-aware, what do you feel after scrolling? You feel like a weird feeling in your stomach. You feel empty. You feel like, I have to mute people. I mute most of the people on social media because even though they're friends, I don't want to see what they do. Because I don't want that one little, oh, maybe I should do that. Maybe do this instead. He looks very successful. I don't want that FOMO. So FOMO, you know, shut down the social media. Don't touch your phone first thing in the morning, first couple of hours if you can with work. Center yourself. Get into focus. Where do you want to go? What is the cost of you not getting to where you want to get to? and then design a plan around that. Find someone that can help you. Allocate time and resources into what is my big domino in 2025. If it's your health, get a coach, get on a program, get on a protocol, and just make it simple, make it easy, back to basic. Do 1, 2, or 3 things you do every single day for the next 9 months or whatever it is left of the year, and watch your life change by New Year's 2026.
That's powerful.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
That's a very strong summary of what we talked about. To make it a little bit practical in terms of nutrition and supplementation as such, do you have any kind of supplement stack that you swear on? Do you have like any kind of nutritional hacks that you can't live without? Is there anything that you would like to share?
Yes, I think from a nutritional standpoint, we work with a lot of business owners and a lot of entrepreneurs. So the way that I'm looking at nutrition today, again, let's just call a spade a spade. Of course, you want to be healthy, you want to feel good, but most people are out of shape. Most people want to look better and feel better. We're not talking about people that have issues with their guts right now. That's a different conversation. Get some blood work done, figuring out what's happening. This conversation here is for 90% of people that just want to feel better, look better, and be a better human being. We want to make it simple with the nutrition. So the way I'm looking at nutrition is categories of, obviously you got your protein, carbohydrates, and you got your fat. So if you're using very simple terms everybody can use, it's your protein is your building blocks for your muscles. Like that's the foundation of the house. The fat, I see it as the grease in the engine. It gets the bolts, it doesn't make it rusty and stuff. It makes everything move, your joints and stuff. And then the carbohydrates is the fuel and the fire that you can taper off with, on and off. Okay, how fast do you want to go? So when we look at that in reverse, the way we're looking at nutrition for our clients, it's carbs in, carbs out. Protein and fat stays the same throughout your meals. Have a high protein meal, 30 to 40 grams in each one of your meals, whether you eat 2, 3, or 4 meals, roughly. And then what I like to do personally is I'm adding carbohydrates in where I need them. So I have carbohydrates before my workout and after my workout. No, not unless afterwards at work or after work at nighttime, I just eat a steak, I just eat protein. And by doing that, I can just taper off my shape very, very easily. It works when I'm in restaurants, it works when I'm traveling, when I'm on the go. Give me a steak, give me a piece of chicken, give me carbs or no carbs, give me some veggies with some healthy fat. That's it. That's how you're staying in shape 365. Play with the carbs in and carbs out if you're like a normal person that actually enjoys all the different varieties. We're not talking about carnivore diet or you want to be vegan right now. Then I do intermittent fasting in the morning, but I'm not doing 16, 18-hour intermittent fasting. I'm not really doing fasting for the fasting's sake. I do fasting I think it's good for your body to get a rest from dinner from 7 until the next morning around 10. You give your digestive system some rest, but I'm using it purely for focus. 6 a.m. to 10:30, there's nothing else than coffee and water and amino acids that gets into my body. So I'm dialed in, I'm fully focused, I'm light. So that's probably it around nutrition. Carbs in, carbs out. Eat carbohydrates before and after you need to actually do something, workout. Supplement stack, I'm never, to be honest, never really been a big fanatics on supplements. Again, it's a doctor checkup. What are you deficient in? What are the specific vitamins? I don't want to sit here and give a recommendation of like, you really need that vitamin because that one is really good. No, what are you deficient in and what do you need? I do my multivitamins in the morning. I do my vitamin D. I do my vitamin C extra, especially in Bali, just for my immune system. It's kind of like you need a bit of extra power for that. Before bed, I do zinc and then magnesium glycinate to sleep on. And that's it. And if I'm extra stressed, if I'm like, there's a lot going on with work right now, I do GABA and then L-theanine as well before bed. So GABA and L-theanine is an amino acid, which really just helps calm down your I think it's the brainwave. There's something in your mind that helps you calm down your thoughts, calm down your mind, so you're not so ADHD and you're overspinning your thinking. So I use that if I have a lot going on. And then I just use, protein. I put that into my oats in the morning, protein powder. I do amino acids first thing in the morning. Hydrate a lot. I drink a lot of water during the day. I drink a lot of water in the morning. Probably have 2 liters of water before 10 o'clock. So again, everything I
That's a
just
lot
say
of
there
water.
right now, it's yeah, it's a lot of water. And then coffee on top, I wee a lot there. But everything I just shared there with you guys, it's something that's applicable and something you can do. Understand the fundamentals of nutrition, your protein, carbohydrates, and fat. If you want to be in shape, build muscle, be lean, taper your carbohydrates around when you work out, eat protein to all the meals, have some good healthy fat in each one of them. 3 meals I eat personally right now are done 4 and 5. Right now I function good in 3, spread out, 10:30, 2 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. That's it. I work out 1 time a day. I go for a walk. That's it. I work 12 hours a day. I hydrate my body in the morning. I do my multivitamins. I do my amino acids, and that's it.
If you think about it, what you just shared in this podcast is how long are you in the game? Like when did you start?
Fitness or training or?
Yeah, training and also like being in business and business minded and fitness.
Training 15, not really serious before 18, 19 when I became a competitive athlete. Business, personal development, 23, 22, 23. And then, yeah, from there.
So if you and how old are you now?
32, just 32, so
So
turned 32.
um so if you think about it, what you just mentioned, because there's a lot of trial and error involved in that for you to figure all of that out for yourself, right? So
Yeah.
if you think about it, you people you just give the shortcut and then keep people accountable in actually doing the thing. And it's probably that, I mean, if I see it as a checklist, there are things that I'm not applying, right? Like I know, but I don't do. Especially when there's stress, especially when life is challenging you, right? Like I have set a big goal for myself, which is the half Ironman in September. So I have some habits, but getting up at the same time, like I've been struggling for since the beginning of time, I think.
Yeah.
But the what I want to get to is this is almost like a checklist of have you mastered the foundations, right? And if you haven't, so that might be a reason why your system or your mind is working against you. So instead of going out and like looking at the next Andrew Huberman video where he talks about peptides or whatever, go back and like, am I sleeping enough, right? And what am I doing in order to get better sleep?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great kind of checklist for the basics that we just covered. Is there something that you would like people to know beyond what we just talked about? Is there something that is like on your heart right now that you would like to share to sum it up?
Well, maybe you can give me who is your listener? Like, let's just take a man, like give me a guy right now where you're like, he's listening to this podcast. He's here in his life right now. He's working on these things. This is difficult for him. And then maybe that's a better way to wrap this one up and give some tangible, concrete advice for this person right now, because it probably relates to a lot of people.
That's a good point. So the people we're talking to have been in personal development for a while, and they have also dialed in some habits already, but something is missing, right? Like they have the feeling that there's a little bit of an edge that they can like they are searching for the bleeding edge, like they have maybe they haven't mastered all the basics yet, but they're in search like for the peptides, for the figuring out like the perfect supplement stack. Many of the people that I also talk to are like have experience with psychedelics and tried a lot, So it's almost like they're in this sense of trial and error all the time, but they're not yet where they want to be, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And so then the natural question for me would be, where do you want to be, Mr. Audience, right now? Because where you want to go will determine what direction that would be the best suited for that direction, if that makes sense. So if I just want to make more money, okay, let's just use that as an example. I want to make more money, and that's what most people on planet Earth want. They're going to spin their wheels. They're going to do the Andrew Tate. They're going to do the Iman Gadzhi. Then they're going to do the Grant Cardone. Then they're going to do the funnel, Russell Brunson. And what they're going to end up with, they're going to end up confused and just spinning their wheels in a search of what. So that is the thing. What do you want? Like, what do you actually want? So the reason why I'm so big on the foundation is because this is what I want. I want good people around me. I want to have a ton of energy. And I want to feel good about myself. I want to freaking build a kick-ass business. That was like 4 things that is very essential for human survival. So I'm like, if that works for me, if I like to wake up and jump in and do that and drink my coffee and read my book there, why would I change that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's giving me what I want. So I think the key takeaway from here, which is, again, so basic, what do you want, dude? Where do you want to be? What do you want to have around you? What do you actually want to spend your everyday life doing? And maybe you are in a trial and error right now where you just want to try 10 different things because you want to be stimulated with things and see where that takes you. That's a purpose in itself. You're in your discovery. And maybe I go through a discovery. You know, maybe I want to go to India and live as a monk for a month or 2 months because that's where I'm at in my life right now. But right now, I live close to how I want to live my life. And I think that gives me a very strong sense of confidence and calmness. Talking about masculinity before, like, I'm just very calm in that I'm doing what's best for me right now with the skills and the ability that I have. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway is just what do you want, and then optimize for that. What's the end in mind?
Powerful. How can people find you? Where do you want to lead them? What is the next step if somebody is like, this Simon guy, I want to learn more about him?
Yeah, go to Instagram. That's probably my main place. So Simon Thomsen, the Scandinavian version. So Simon Thomsen, THOMSEN. Same thing on Facebook. Same thing on YouTube. But yeah, go over there. You know, we have a lot of free resources, a lot of content in there. If you want to, speak more about coaching and having help, like, simply just send a DM over there. Like, there's a ton of different ways you can get in contact with us. But I just want to leave people in a better place than what they were 1 hour and 6 minutes ago. And if just one thing stimulated you to take some new action today, whether it's sleep, whether you're going to do something for the next 30 days, whether you're going to write down your goals, whether you're going to figure out what you actually want, I'm happy if this one thing stuck with you. So that's my thing.
This is certainly a re-listen for me, even though I was live here with you. Let's maybe make a little checklist in the show descriptions, and then also have all the links that you mentioned in the show description. Simon, thank you so much for taking
my
the
brother.
time.
Appreciate you. I will see you soon, very soon.
For sure.